Yeah, I mean, I think that there's some value in young quarterbacks that can run the ball. And we've seen this a little bit in some of like the tracking data type stuff where when you look at how linebackers move, when there's a Lamar Jackson or Trey Lance or Justin Fields or even Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones type player, like the linebackers stay pretty stationary. And I think when I look at the Colts, I think that they're going to be a team that actually is able to take advantage of that advantage because when you look at their schedule, their schedule is the fourth easiest in the NFL per my numbers. Like every game is a point easier on the point spread on average than the average team, and that like when you look at last year, if you look at the same kind of vibes, it's like the Giants last year, the Washington Commanders last teams that like weren't that good but win over, and in the case of the Giants made the playoffs. I'm not saying that the Colts are going to make the playoffs, but I think when you look at like a season win total of 6.5, 7, that kind of area, you look at one that I particularly like, which is over 2.5 division wins at -150. Those are the kind of plays I want to look at because, especially if you're playing in the sandbox that is the AFC South, you're going to get some, wins doing like non-traditional things like running the football with the quarterback and playing okay defense. And I think that this team can actually do that. And when you look at Shane Steichen got Justin Herbert to Rookie of the Year. And then he got Jalen Hurts to the Super Bowl, where he was basically like one really great second half from Patrick Mahomes away from winning the MVP. It's a similar trajectory. I actually think Green Bay is that team. And Green Bay, kind of similar trajectory where they were very good. And then, last year with their like Hall of Fame quarterback, they fall off a little bit. They miss the playoffs. And then they trade away that quarterback, and everybody's like, oh, it's a reset season. And, we all kind of missed, and I don't blame anybody. Like, no one saw Geno Smith being good. But I think a similar quarterback in Jordan Love could be that way. And the way that I've kind of said it is all the Packers really wanted Aaron Rodgers to do the last 4 years under Matt LaFleur was to color in the lines. And like 2020 was like the quintessential color within the lines. And then when the situation gave rise to it, he was a great artist. In last year, he just wanted to be an artist the entire time. And, we can joke about that as well with his off the field stuff. But like he wanted to be an artist. And I think that Matt LaFleur just wants Jordan Love to color in the lines. And this offense, when you look at the line, you look at the running backs, some of the young receivers, a little concerning. But if Jordan Love just hits that back foot and throws the thing that's open, I think he's good enough for this team in a bad NFC to make the playoffs. And at 4-1, I think that's the best divisional bet on the board.
Can't wait till this weekend. Big UFC pay-per-view. We get Sean O'Malley fighting for the title, and then a bunch of preseason football. We even get a preseason football game on Monday night. We got your Commanders.
Yes.
Who I actually just
trying to
bet.
end the streak.
I wanted the 3.5 against Baltimore. All I could get was the 3. I'm going to take the Commanders. I think that the streak.
I love this.
All
I love
good
this
things
about
come to
you.
an end. I have a feeling that the Ravens lose on Monday night, guys.
It feels like the streak
You're
is about to
outrageous.
come to an end. They only win by a point last game, which killed me because they didn't cover, and that was the worst.
Yeah.
Thing is, though, they're 5-0 straight up against Washington during this winning streak. 2-0 straight up and against the spread at Washington in the preseason. So they've had their fair share of success there, but it does kind of have that feel. Like at some point, right, we talk about the do factor all the time. There is a do factor with this where the Baltimore Ravens at some point have to lose a preseason game. They have to. But I don't know if I'm really willing to. But you know me, my heart is in it. I don't really care. It's a preseason game. I don't care that much.
Yeah.
I can't think logically if it's my team. I'm still jaded. I still think they're going to be a complete dumpster fire because we can't have nice things, even though we've got a new owner and everything is supposed to be different. So I'm only staying away because I try to stay away from my team as much as possible when I'm betting. But it does feel like we're closing in on the Ravens finally losing a preseason game.
Yeah, it's like, what are they going to show, right? Like, Washington is still trying to figure some things out. We're catching 3 points with them, and you're not going to see Lamar, not for long.
Tyler Huntley looked good. He completed 72% of his passes. I don't wonder if they'll even play him.
That's what I was about to say. Like,
I don't think they will.
How much run, how many series, like, what do you really need to see from Tyler Huntley? You saw him the last 2 years when Lamar went down. And also, he got dinged in that game. He's questionable. You have Josh Johnson. You're just trying to figure out if you want him on the roster because you also have Anthony Brown from Oregon there as well. So,
oh,
yeah,
boy. Don't say that name.
So, yeah, I don't know why you would play Tyler Huntley more than, a couple series. So, I'm going to take a shot with Washington here. It's not my favorite bet of the preseason, but, +3, why not?
Pro Bowler, Snoop Huntley. The Cowboys just kind of floating around. They were 14-1 to open. They're 15-1 currently, so they're kind of right there with the Jets. And they're probably, it looks like they're running about 7th or 8th in ticket count at BetMGM, and they're in a similar range on bet count. So I would guess that the at the moment for BetMGM, the Cowboys are probably a pretty good outcome. In fact, I'm going to take a look here at their liabilities. Biggest liabilities. This is kind of interesting. I think nationally, when you factor in the retail sports books, Trista, because and most of the betting is done obviously from the palm of our hand or from our computer screen or whatever. But when you're only talking digital, BetMGM digital, the Lions are still the biggest liability. But I'm sure that the Jets, when you start factoring in retail, it's the Jets. But the Bills and Bengals are liabilities as well. The Cowboys are not mentioned among the liabilities. They're not among the top 3 or 4 in tickets. They're not among the top 3 or 4 in money. So I would say if the Cowboys, you think they're going to be good, you might want to take a pop on them, and they're just kind of hanging around in that 14 to 15-1 range. Really, as much as you can fly under the radar as like the 6th or 7th choice on the board, that's what they're doing.
I'm most excited about Quinn Ewers just because I'm so high on Texas this season. They have so much talent, even though they lose Bijan. It's their final season in the Big 12, and you have Arch Manning there now breathing down his neck. Last season, he had some really good moments. We all remember the game against Alabama where if he doesn't get injured in the first half, they probably beat Bama. He was also really good against Oklahoma. He threw 4 touchdowns in that game. But then he went 4 straight games where he didn't complete 60% of his passes. Didn't look like an NFL quarterback. Against Oklahoma State, 19 of 49, one of the worst games I've ever seen played. And then 17 for 39 against TCU. But I think he has a bounce-back year. He shaved that mullet. Xavier Worthy's back. He scored 9 touchdowns last season. Jordan Whittington's there. They have a really good tight end. Sanders is back. He caught 54 balls. All 5 offensive linemen are back. You got Sark calling the plays. 10 starters back on offense. Last year, they averaged 430 yards per game. I really want to see if Quinn Ewers lives up to the hype that we had from a couple years ago when he went to Ohio State.
11-1 to win the Heisman this year.
Yeah, I grabbed a little bit of that. I did.
And I think the thing that's encouraging about having stock in Quinn Ewers is just how much hype was around Arch Manning. Yeah. It felt like this time last year, Arch Manning was going to walk into Texas and just have the job already. It was his. There was all this hoopla and all this pomp and circumstance, and wait till Arch Manning gets to Texas. We'll see what happens then. And Quinn Ewers still has the starting job to this day. So that tells you that him winning that job means he's probably better now than he was 12 months ago.
And what I like obviously you don't want too much pressure. I mean, there's going to be pressure. He's the starting quarterback at Texas, and they have a win total of 9.5, and they're the favorites to win the Big 12. But, I mean, if he struggles, if he has 4 straight games where he can't complete 60% of his passes, we're going to see Arch Manning, or we'll see Malik. I don't even know if Arch Manning's going to end up being the backup. We don't know yet. He's only a true freshman. He is making $8 million or whatever it is, though. So I am excited to see what Quinn does this year. Let's actually pull up my number.
I want to say it was 16.
Because I remember.
Oh no, 25 to 1.
Oh, it was 25. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's pull it up. Actually,
well, I know it was before Aaron Rodgers went there
because we also want to check if our inner Miami bet has cash, and that one has been graded a victory. I have the Jets 25 to 1. I placed this bet March 7th at 1:46 a.m. I also played
all of
the
your
Jets.
bets are in the middle of the night too.
I played the Jets Super Bowl 58 winner. 1:46 a.m. March 7th, 25 to 1. I also played them 14 to 1 to win the AFC. That was at 1:49 a.m. on March 7th as well. And that's the next day. Aaron Rodgers, that all comes out. He goes on McAfee, says I want to be a Jet. And but I wouldn't play it at the current price. Too much hype right now.